Hello and welcome to How to Play Attack Symmetra in Overwatch. This is your comrade, Real Soviet Bear, and let's begin. Symmetra is officially a support character, and it's frowned upon when people use her on anything other than certain parts of maps on defense. Due to her primary role being support damage with turrets and teleporting allies in from the spawn, it's not hard to see why. Of course, just picking and setting 6 turrets in a room is a real lack of imagination. After forcing myself to play her quite a bit on Attack and even King of the Hill maps, I've found that she can be just as useful as any other character in the right circumstances. The first thing you want to do is play Symmetra a lot on defense. On Attack, pick whatever your team needs at the moment. You need to learn the maps by playing normally, realize what's where and which routes players use on each side. For example, if you play the Nepal Shrine, you realize that most people just go the shortest possible route to get to the point, while the side routes are far less traversed. This will let you learn good teleport spots and what kind of overview of the terrain each character has. For example, if there's a Pharah on the enemy team, your teleport will have to be hidden from bird's eye view. Basically, starting to play Symmetra on Attack without understanding the flow of each map is very hard, so practice under lower risk circumstances first. Symmetra's gun is surprisingly deadly, and you'll need to use it quite a lot if you want to build your ultimate. The Altfire Orb can deal with Torbjorn's turrets and lazy bastions, as well as break through Reinhardt's shield. They will also deny enemy passage since it flies so slowly. Use this to spread out a tight-knit enemy group and feel free to use it as much as you need until you get a push. Remember though that when you're sneaking about, the orb can reveal your position, so only use it when you don't care whether the enemy knows where you are. You can cancel a charged shot by pressing reload or applying a shield to someone, so make use of that if you decide to change your mind. The primary fire does more damage the longer it deals damage. It also snaps onto whoever you are targeting, much like Mercy's staff. What this means for you is that once you have your target, you go into bunny hopping mode. Almost all other characters need to aim their weapons so they're not as twitchy in combat. This is a big advantage for Symmetra because you'll find people not being used to mobile characters being a threat like that, so if you move around smartly, you can melt anyone. The beam has a maximum range, so make sure you get used to it. You'll be only engaging enemies within that range as you're dead versus anything shooting you from farther away. Unless you're lucky. Most Symmetras use their turrets as a car wash to make a kill room. This is effective when you have to protect a single room at all costs, but it is easily dispatched. Keep in mind that each turret also slows the target down rather than just damaging it, so spread them out. This is the more universal advice, but when attacking, there are a few more specific tips. First off, understand that while you're pushing towards the point, the enemy is pushing back. If you set turrets on choke points after you've pushed past them, it'll give you an advantage when the defending team tries to counterattack. Make sure that your turrets are wide enough apart. If someone sees one turret attacking them, they should waste time finding the other. If they're all cluttered, they'll easily clear them out quickly. Set them in rooms with health pickups, because in most cases someone running towards that health pickup is low on health and a turret will finish them off. Set them behind the environment, like in bushes or against decoration of similar color as your turrets. Set them against very awkward pillars, basically anywhere your opponent will likely pass, even on the actual point you're attacking. You're not there to kill, you're there to slow down, assist with damage, and build your ultimate meter. And always keep in mind the direction from which your enemy will approach and set your turret so that they can't see it until they pass it. The teleporter of an attack Symmetra is the rudest move in Overwatch. This is where playing Symmetra becomes a game of stealth. After you've built up your meter enough, it's up to the rest of your team to become a distraction and drive attention away from you for just a few seconds. Enough for you to pass the choke point. Your next job is to sneak about and find a place to set your teleporter. There are 2 types of attack Symmetra teleporters: backdoor and reinforcer. The backdoor is meant to get your team behind enemy lines and attack from a direction the enemy was not expecting. This teleporter is meant to last quite a bit, so put it somewhere that has maybe 2 points of entry. Place turrets and protect it until there is 1 or 2 charges left. Keep in mind that the teleporter makes noise, so learn the distance and put it somewhere that's either outside of earshot, or if it's within earshot on a different floor. If you're feeling particularly cheeky, you can place it close to another Symmetra's teleporter to make enemies think it's theirs they hear. The Reinforcer teleporter is there to keep the flow of allies going. You shouldn't expect a long lifespan for it because it's close to the capture point, so don't set it until someone's dead. When you see people dead, set it and help those still alive, or guard it for the few moments it takes for people to use it up. This teleporter is especially useful in overtime because enemies defending a point will be too preoccupied with keeping the point clear to go search for the teleporter. Now keep in mind that setting teleporters is a massive game of bluffing and counter bluffing. If people find your teleporter once, they'll find it at the same spot again. If you're playing against a high-end team, gimmicks will not get you far. A thorough Genji or Tracer searching everything will probably always find it. You need to adapt, work with your teammates, and time things properly. Basically, the higher the rank you're playing at, the harder your job will be. With 100 health and 100 shields, your life is a tad miserable when in direct confrontation, especially because almost all other characters have better range than you. However, if you fight someone one-on-one, you are very likely to melt them. Bunny hopping and using the terrain to your advantage will let you kill almost every character one-on-one. I'm not kidding, there are only 2 characters that can consistently beat you, Reinhardt and Winston. Reinhardt's swings are slightly shorter than your beam, but since it's pixel perfect distance you'd have to maintain, he'll still kill you after 3 swings. You cannot bunny hop out of that. Winston, much like you, doesn't need to target to deal damage. He has enough health to kill you before your maxed out beam kills him. Unless these characters are already badly hurt, don't engage them. There's a little trick you can use though. If you fully charge your orb as you approach them and make sure you hit them for full damage, then switch to your beam right away, you have a much better chance. Anyone else though? Flank them and melt them. Especially characters who hide behind defense abilities like a Genji or a D.Va, because your beam goes directly through that. One thing you will probably notice after playing for a long time is that there are parts of the maps you've never been to. Good news, this is true for a lot of players. Make sure to use weird parts of the map nobody else does and set your teleporter there. This is especially true for King of the Hill maps, as people will rush in using the quickest route. There's a lot of empty space that might not be the fastest route for your team, but if it shaves off 15 seconds from the Walk of Shame, it helps. Another thing for non-King of the Hill maps are the enemy spawns. If you look at maps like Route 66, Numbani or King's Row, the old defending spawns are kind of out of the way. This is perfect for a backdoor teleporter because it's almost never in the patrol route of the enemy and it's sometimes even outside of hearing distance. Unless someone is shooting you or taking an objective, shield your allies. Always shield them. 25 might not seem like much, but it helps. Always shield. If you see an opportunity to flank, do it. Enemies won't understand what's going on until it's too late. Set your teleporter in a direction that confuses your allies the least and that is possibly facing the objective. I've had people go back to the choke point after a backdoor teleporter because they had no idea where they were. If someone is shooting your teleporter, stand between the teleporter and them while defending it. Even if you die, someone might teleport in and stop it from being destroyed. Listen for footsteps approaching your teleporter room and ambush enemies that way. When you're approaching a room with enemies or passing an area where enemies might hear you, crouch to minimize the sound you make. Always announce your charges so the healer isn't left without a teleport. Also, if it's a choice between you and someone else using the last charge, let them use it. Be prepared for a ton of sass. I've had enough people arguing with me during setup because I picked Symmetra and attack to cover my entire wall with screenshots. People don't see it often and they see it work even less. Everyone wants to play a 2 healer, 2 tank, 2 offense setup. Be nice, ignore them, and try to do your best. learn to play on defense and lose a lot. Then learn to play on attack and lose a lot. And then, after you've learned to play and are starting to lose less, move to competitive where the penalty is more severe. And most importantly, have fun.